Hey everyone, with my big deathmatch tournament coming up for Age of Mythology Retold, I figured this would be a really good time to show you guys around game mode itself, bunch of build orders, show you the instant outs as well as of course the basics. So first off, you gotta go to this little drop down with the game types, right? Like it's a little bit hidden. I think a lot of people don't find the mode because of that, and it also doesn't describe it very well. So let's just jump in with Zeus, which is pretty standard, and take a quick look at what the mode even does. Standard settings for it are revealed map, so that will switch whenever you switch to the deathmatch game mode, of course, and everything else you can just leave on default. Titans will be off by default as well, as the game mode kind of requires that, with all the god powers being able to destroy it. You'll see why in a second. So first off, here we go. Look at that. 20,000 of each resources. That is a whole lot, right? You also get 200 extra favor. Zeus getting 210 because of the 10 initial bonus. And your god powers start on cooldown. You cannot immediately use them. Why? Well, because as you age up, you'll be able to just make all your houses. Of course, because you're rich, you should make probably an extra villager or villagers as you age up. And aging up requires a tempo, right? So we're gonna be going up through Athena. We can pre-queue the god, of course. We don't have to wait for the villager to complete because it's going really fast. Each age up is actually just 5 seconds. It still costs resources, but here's the thing. You see that's a bull minotaur. That's because the upgrades complete as soon as you age up. You immediately unlock, of course, your second god power, but not for casting. It's actually got a more than 2-minute cooldown there. And I'll also show you guys that the hoplites are upgraded, also the medium upgrades are done, the armory upgrades are done. That's because every upgrade from your current age is going to be automatically completed, right? So your mission isn't quite to go to the next ages as soon as possible, but you don't want to be slow either. You certainly don't want to be gathering resources, but yeah, as we go up, these timers for the next god powers do increase. And as well, if you do use them, their recharges are much longer than in the standard mode. They actually take 50% more time to go off cooldown, so that the god powers aren't quite as spammy in deathmatch. Because you have all this initial favor, you have so much more access to favor in general. Yeah, this is now a heavy hoplite because we're in the heroic age. And with the fortress complete, we'll be immediately in the mythic age with all the mythic age upgrades done. Except for Titan. Titan Gate, that's not going to be a thing because deathmatch has these destructive god powers, right? You will be just about built up all around the map, and it would be really bad if you could hit the Titan Gate as it launches with some god powers that are immediately available. So yeah, it wouldn't be great for competitive play, but of course you're welcome to enable it for casual play. But we're talking about tournament stuff here, right? Like I've got this 1,000 pound tournament coming up. That's 1,300 USD, just about. And you know, there we want a competitive environment for sure. So how do you actually build up here to get to the standard map control that you would want to have in a late game scenario? Because honestly, with this kind of starting resources, you're gonna be getting towards a late game-esque setup, but it's not the same. It's not the same. These starting conditions are vastly different from the standard game mode, right? You don't have to go through so many of the steps. But basically what you want to do is make sure that you get to 3 town centers and that you pump villagers. We're going to be making these houses real quick. And this is going to be the Zeus part of the build. We're going to be covering all the gods in this video briefly. We're going to be sending off our villagers to our back town center as well, a little bit to the front one. I'm going towards the back because this is so much safer. We're going to be using these 2 villagers to make the armory. We're going to pump out the heroes because we can at the same time. And we're going to be looking for some possible pickoffs with the Minotaur. We're going to be building up a little wall of barracks here, military academies rather. We're just gonna make it all barracks and maybe add a wall here, I think, just for safety's sake. And then all these villagers can just go to the town center with some shift clicks. This is now a quick way to build up for us. And then there's this villager. We'll add some more military academies because Zeus loves hoplites. We're going to be pre-queuing the heroic age through Apollo. And then we can already slam down our fortress here. Get Odysseus going. Get some hoplites going. Mixed with some Hippospists, of course. And then with these additional villagers, why not slam down some archery ranges, right? Additional villagers can just come out here to help the fortress builder. And this is done. Let's make a gate so our hoplites can more easily escape. You know, the buildings here are acting as a nice wall that got quickly made without needing to make a wall, and we need to get to full population, right? Our hoplites are also good against buildings, of course, so we could separate them and see if we can hit the enemy town centers. One thing you'll notice is the town centers build slowly. They're actually around half speed, depending on the faction you're playing. Atlanteans don't get a big slowdown. And we're going to be going Hera because Medusa are actually really, really good in most of the matchups. And Lightning Storm gives you a huge power spike that you can use. And we're making a ton of extra Medusas. We were waiting for the Mythic Age so that we can spend specifically our favor on a high tier myth unit like Medusa. And the AI will be probably building up here. So we're gonna be denying that town center while we're gonna pressure the front. This is just a standard AI, nothing too difficult. And soon we're gonna need a bunch of praying villagers because after those Medusa are done, our favor will be out. So Greek does need to pray and worry about that kind of stuff. I think we're gonna make some more archery ranges here. And we're gonna start walling off on the side, getting some markets. This is a lot of steps. You can definitely tell that Deathmatch is a super fast game mode off the bat. You can see our cooldown for Underworld Passage. The initial cooldown is nearly filled up. You're going to be wanting to do a good amount of unit pumping in order to stay near your population cap. You don't necessarily have to exceed it, but staying near is generally a good thing. Just to have a powerful army out. Backing up all this with a lot of Toxotes, of course. We've got a bunch of idle villagers. They could start helping to pray, but that's also enough prayers by now. Around 8 praying villagers. You can go up to 10 if you want. Doesn't really matter. About 8 or 10. I like 8 personally for this mid game until I go way crazier on Medusas. We went Apollo. So we get to benefit from healing temples. We'll make some extra healing temples here so we can park our myth units around there. That makes Medusas just extremely effective. But with Bellerophon here, there's a lot of enemies, so we're gonna have to be careful, but I think we can place our Underworld Passage. We've mostly defended here. So let's just keep 3 or 4 hoplites around. Oh god. Good job by the AI sniping some of my Medusa there. But being here, having Restoration, having Helipolis, we can just snipe that main town center. It's already gone. And we can follow up with a Lightning Storm whenever we please. We still have 2 Medusas. We are still pumping them out. This fortress probably could use some repairs. And as the markets come up, we're going to be starting the auto queue. Our heroes have died, so let's replenish those. But yeah, it's basically game already. There's no way that the AI can rebuild from a loss like this. Unfortunately, we've lost the Underworld Passage, so all our units here are dead. But that's fine. As long as we can just get out of here and hit that other town center, we'll replenish our units. Which I should be doing faster, which I would be doing if I wasn't talking the whole time. But this is the basics of Zeus. We can hit them with the Lightning Storm now. It's gonna be absolutely devastating for that army. This TC has never been grabbed, and so our next mission would be just to head downwards. We've got a large economy. It's big enough to keep us going from here. And as you can imagine, one more attack, this will be gone. We would use Restoration as our favor is going up pretty fast. And that's Zeus. Let's move on to the next god. Okay, we're swapping to Hades now. This is really not too different, except for the fact that you've got the best god power available to you. In the early game, it is Pestilence. This will shut down production for everybody in the middle, but we're roughly going to be doing the same build order, and really all I'm doing is just showing you guys how potent this is. Against Hades, people would have to essentially have these split bases so that they don't all get hit by Pestilence. You don't need to worry so much about how neatly you're walling off as you would with Zeus, because you're just going to be so much more aggressive than Zeus could ever hope to be. We're going to be adding some stables as well for a little bit of extra pressure. And with Ares, we've also unlocked Hippospis early on, which is great. We're going to be moving on with Aphrodite, as she will allow us to have faster moving, faster building villagers and minion lions that can stun. So with this, we can afford ourselves two fortresses very quickly here in the early game. And our Toxotes are also going to be pretty powerful thanks to the Ares upgrade and later the Artemis upgrade, of course. We're going to be adding in some cavalry just for reinforcement powers. And this is not, in fact, the TC that they're trying to take. I think the AI just likes to take the back town center. And we're going to be full population pretty fast because so many of our buildings are getting made very early on. Already at 3 minutes-ish, you will be able to use your god powers. And this should be us in Mythic. Let's have another back fortress there just to keep our villagers safe. We're going to be going up to Mythic with Artemis, and now we'll get a bunch of praying villagers on that town center, of course. Let's add a bunch of hoplites for meat shields. The AI is actually doing a really good job of having an early army, so what we're going to do is regroup here and be a little bit more careful about the Hydras. But all we really gotta do is flood them hard. So these are growing in numbers, which is great. Gotta be careful with this Chimera Tyrant. Hopefully it can hit the villagers. We'll order some extra. And Pestilence is ready. It's got a huge area. It will basically stop production in all these buildings. And the Chimera is ready to fire these villagers up. Ceasefire is going to be cast, which is actually a decent counter to what we're doing. We're going to start getting our markets up and running. We don't necessarily have to trade early. It can be a bit of a liability. But hey, if you've got free town centers, if you are pressing the other guys so hard that they're on just one, then you'll be golden, I think. And we can cast another of these as we destroy the main town center because they just don't have units out. Actually, they're defending reasonably well, but that's basically the build, guys. You can add in a little bit of food gathering here at this point. We've got a bunch of idols. Let's fix that. But yeah. You've seen everything that you needed to see. Okay, the TC stayed up. Good defense by the AI. Good defense. But we've put it in a terrible condition. One more thing we can do when we're this far ahead, especially with Hades, it's a really good idea to just wall up the side. Start putting a bunch of buildings around there. But otherwise, this is all you needed to see for this one. Moving on. Alright, we are swapping to Ra. Skipping Poseidon because he's too similar to Hades. The priests can help the villagers actually empower these houses. And we're making a forward monument. Grabbing the remaining guys, everybody will go to the front as we'll build around that monument. Let's slap down a market here and empower the monument, not the market actually. Because it will later help every building that we make. All these barracks will be rather useful. We'll also start a front monument up there. And these additional villagers, we can just, rally 2 houses and make a bunch of additional budgets for defensive purposes. And these guys can move forward. we're gonna be advancing to the heroic age through Sekhmet. Egyptians go very fast like this. Putting down a Migdol stronghold, or 2, or 3. As many as you like. Just spam out all the barracks unit types, they're all good. Especially if we're gonna be advancing through Horus. That's gonna help out a lot. Not that you couldn't go Osiris, not that you couldn't go for any of the other minor gods. Like, you could be going for Eclipsed Mummies for all I care. But all the god paths are very viable for Ra. This is just the simplest one because you get Shifting Sands for a little bit of aggressive play. We'll grab some of the units to teleport onto the enemy town centers and slow them down. That's gonna be really neat, I think. We're also gonna be wanting to look at the side TCs and securing those. But Horus is coming up already. Let's make some chariots. Let's make some siege weapons actually here. Wouldn't be too bad. And we can split out a bunch of our spearmen to look at that town center. A bunch of elephants wouldn't hurt. And we can start on that TC right away. Maybe another monument in the back there. Oh, okay. That's very well defended indeed. What we can do now is actually either go into scarabs for a big drop. We have to delete this building, it's in the way. Or we can just rely on our existing armies. We've built a little bit too tightly, but that's okay. What we're gonna do is run around with a handful of spears. And this entire army is just gonna teleport onto our opponent. This Migdol is completed. Priest can help build that up. And I think we're about to have vision there. This is a pretty good army, I think, to take for this. Whoa, 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 whoa. And here comes the big Shifting Sands. There's elephants in here, so I think we can handle the town center just fine. The villagers are probably toast there. Huh, good garrison. So yeah, AI is really good actually with these little reactions, I have to say. Alright, the enemy's coming our way, so let's tower up. Make sure we empower the Banner Monument for some extra favor. But they're really out of position, right? Like, we're gonna hit them so hard here. All those villagers are toast. If they send anyone to the front, that's not gonna go well for them either. And we can make a second temple. We're gonna get ready for gold gathering. And what else we can do is look into our trade route a little bit. Perhaps some walling operations around the side. Just quickly set those up. And yeah, we've absolutely crushed it in the back. We're gonna be putting down our citadel. We can add some siege towers. And we can make sure the AI is kept off of this town center. We can leave here. We don't need to stay. The elephants are gonna make that a little bit hard, so maybe we'll leave those behind. And of course the front TC is gonna be just a citadel now, giving us some extra population. We can pump out some more units in general. A farm transition wouldn't be too bad, including in the main, as we're gonna be using grain as our main source of food. And we are making a lot of food units, aren't we? Yeah, we're basically winning this fight. I mean, this is a really good place to use our tornado. You always want to use them on the tornado on units rather than buildings, because they're just so much more vulnerable to it. We're dropping a little low in population, but that's okay because empowering actually boosts up our production speed. Yeah, you can see it. This tornado is not hurting our own stuff and absolutely ripping into the enemy army. Nabbing Bellerophon there is huge. And what I want now is pump out a bunch of siege, pump out a bunch of elephants, and do another Shifting Sands. That's ready to go momentarily. I'm gonna turn this into a citadel and start gathering gold, as we've had enough of the other resources really. I think we're gonna move some of these guys over to hunt even. Shifting stance number next is ready, and that is how we'll finish basically the game, by just rampaging into that main town center area. The AI is hyper defensive though, just chilling in the base, so it's a little harder to actually get in there for a good shot, but we'll do it. We'll do it. Didn't need to take the priests, right? So this is what we're gonna be left with. The chariots can just fight off the army. The elephants are more than capable of tearing down the TC. And from here, it's really game. Like, what are they gonna do? You're gonna take... we have plenty of food, right? So we're gonna just take these guys up here. Spam down all our amygdals, towers. Grab the TC. What are they gonna do about it? You can just protect it with a massive army. Rally there. Trade some wood away actually with the Egyptians. I think that's a very important little trick, because you have so much wood and your buildings don't require any. It's just a really efficient little thing you can do with the Egyptians. Later you'll need wood, of course, but in the meantime, enjoy your opportunities. We could be using a second rain shortly, so we'll just make sure that the farming is in a good spot. Let's transfer some villagers as well. And technically, we could just camp here, like the AI has been doing, and do another big shifting stance, this time on that TC. They'll never build an economy. We could steal their plenty vault. This is Ra, ladies and gentlemen. Or you can wait for a third citadel and have a ridiculous 265 population army. But we're going to be working on the 4th town center. This is basically unstoppable from here, especially once you have buildings and everything. Moving on. Moving on with Isis. She's got a much more defensive setup to herself than Ra, because there's no shifting stance. And there's no monument empowering, so the build order is just a little bit slower. But you've got other monument mechanics with the healing and with the god power blocking, so that is just really good for defensive purposes. No worries, we'll make it, we'll make it. Let's get a bunch of sphinxes out again for defense, and just a bunch of barracks as well. Then we'll be getting a double migdal in the heroic cage through Sobek, because he allows you to essentially build faster. And your buildings get cheaper too. So we're gonna start up 2 migdal strongholds over there. We'll split our villagers across the houses, and we'll start a third migdal, excuse me, in the back. Meanwhile, our barracks can pump the infantry, not so much the slingers. But yeah, we'll get a little bit of all the infantry, and then make sure to actually complete all these migdal strongholds. Get a large number of camels, because they're super strong. The migdal in the main wouldn't hurt. And then we'll pump the mummies as long as we can. Swapping over to the town center, adding a bunch of extra towers, because why not? We don't have infinite favor, however, we're already using it up. So we gotta be a little bit careful with that. But no worries, we'll have a huge army here. Nothing to worry about. We'll also start to build up our trade route and make sure that this is walled off. It's all really important stuff. We're approaching our maximum population, of course, as the housing situation isn't absolutely perfect, but that's okay as well. We're gonna start a second migdal stronghold to defend this area, wall it off as well. As you can see, it's a little bit open, so it can be a good idea to park some units in the second TC area. This is our heavily fortified one up front. So we can pretty much stick with that for now. Add another migdal to make sure that nobody bothers those villagers. And lastly, of course, siege workshops. At 220 pop, we're gonna be in a pretty good situation. We don't need to attack, however. We could raid with the camels, but it's not like a recipe that you must follow. You can just defend with Isis, but it's easier, I think, if you can manage a little bit of extra harassment plays. So we'll see that there's nothing up front. They're probably in the back trying to make this TC. Nope. We've got a little bit of an attack on top of us. So maybe we'll not bring back the camos, but we'll use our Eclipse. That's a very good way to thwart these early attempts. Especially if we can manage to snipe the heroes. Of course, the mummies are getting picked off by the Odysseus, it looks like. And we must have lost some of our villagers at the very least, despite all our firepower going into this. Let's see how much we can hurt this town center. Probably not enough. We're gonna leave. The AI is very, very defensive, of course. Yeah, we've defended reasonably well here. And having the monument up, that does mean that we can just empower it with our Pharaoh. This TC has completed meanwhile, and we can go for that front gold mine. Of course, gold mines are going to be at the center of Isis with prosperity, so we're going to be setting up for that. We're going to be setting a little bit of our wood, because we just don't need that many in the bank, and wait for the AI to come to us as usual. Maybe turn this Pharaoh into a son of Osiris. And just try to defend this conventionally. The priest can go after Mythinids as usual. Ooh. Well, this is where the mercenaries come in. We're getting assaulted by some ranged stuff. And we can make use of this forward position by just plopping down a bunch of towers. Pharaoh can help the Son of Osiris in power. Then we've got 2 monuments healing our entire army at 2 hit points per second. It's a very, very bad idea to fight Isis in these situations. We got now 23 villagers from gold, but this one is about to expire. But you know what's better than 2 monuments? 3 monuments. The next mission will be to get a second Son of Osiris, of course. With 5 monuments, with 3 of them being empowered and generating double the normal favor, this isn't going to be too difficult. So you can just wait for this to go up. Okay, so as I was saying, what's better than 1 Son of Osiris is 2. AI is going to have a really difficult time managing this, as with any human player. And they can still empower the buildings, of course. And I guess now is a good time to use our prosperity. We'll get ultra rich. And once prosperity is over, we can push forward really hard. But I think even now we can just take all of these wood gathering people. Fortunately, that's going to be our last Migdol. So we'll have to delete some old ones now to make the new ones. Okay guys, so as I have been saying, the AI plays very defensive, right? So it's a little hard to showcase this. They always camp at home with their army. So it is very difficult to start pushing onto them. But you also know that this way they're never gonna get anything done. So we got our 2 Son of Osiris. We are pushing forward with towers. We are getting chariots. We are getting catapults now in between our towers and fortresses. And we just keep deleting the old towers and fortresses in order to make more progress. So this one is weak anyway. We don't need it. We're going to be getting a new one instead. The AI will be trying to suicide into my villagers, of course, slowing the progress down a little bit, but it's not really worth it. We'll get some more catapults, we'll get some more units out, and we could be using our Pharaoh to empower some of this, of course, because he's an extra Pharaoh anyhow. And we're already at the enemy town center. We can use extra locust swarms if we want. We can use extra eclipses if we want, but I'm saving my favor actually a little bit for a 3rd Son of Osiris, perhaps. It's gonna be very, very, very difficult to deal with that, and this is basically game over for any AI gamers. So yeah, I think that's quite enough. It proves my point. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go with Set. He's a little bit of an aggressive god, a mix between Isis and Ra, but he doesn't get the double pharaoh stuff, he doesn't get the monument empowering, he doesn't get Sobek, no fast building whatsoever. This one pharaoh, there's no second one, because there's no Osiris. He is the key to everything. It's a nightmare to go up against Zeus with him because you just get bolted. So, you know, careful using and overusing Set in general. But what we're going to be doing is head towards the second town center that's close by and safe. We're going to be securing that. We're going to be making a bunch of extra siege works early on. And instead of defensive myth units, we've got the animals, right? That's enough for now. And we're going to be making a few extra scarabs. I'm not sure we can pump out 6, but we can probably pump out 5. And let's just get the mixed infantry setup that we did with the other gods. And we're going to be getting 2 Migdals just to make sure that we don't get overrun. And our villagers can go there to help. Let's pump out a bunch of elephants from this. The barracks units are going to be our main defense. And of course, we're gonna go with Horus because we want that super infantry. Right, it's very important to finish all these houses up shortly because the free animals actually take up a lot of the population here. And depending on whether we're attacked heavily or not, we'll be deleting the animals. Squeeze out a bunch of extra siege towers as well. They're boosted by the segment techs. Next up, we're going to be wanting to make sure that we have some Migdals back home also. Second TC will be done momentarily. Then we'll build a third Migdal to just really secure this gold mine with a bunch of towers as well. And start up our market location, making sure to wall that off. And you'll notice that vision is actually free. That's because clairvoyance is of course researched. As I predicted, we are gonna have the 6 scarabs. We made 5 of them. And this should be enough for a great shifting sand. So we're gonna get a nice little read with our vision on the enemy base. We're waiting until that enemy army comes a little closer to us. And then off we go. In between the 2 town centers. Oh, they're pulling back. What is this? We can definitely down this though. Right? Let's get the villagers with that. Some of our units are just standing still here. A scarab blood actually hurts villagers a little bit, but not enough apparently. Looks like the AI has pulled back, and we basically just keep doing this over and over. Shifting Sands will be back in basically no time. We can build up on the third town centers if we like. Main is dead. We can now hunt villagers essentially. So spearmen are relatively fast at 5.8 speed, especially with Set. That is really fast, in fact. See how many of these villagers we can nab. Not many, because the AI is really good at garrisoning. And we don't have Locust Swarm to get rid of more villagers faster, but we do have access to Citadel, which will help us pump our stuff out faster. We still have a lot of resources, so what we're gonna do is actually try to get 4 town centers. Slowly but surely we will get some progress. This town center is still down, which is great news for us. Let's see if we can sneak something, like the siege tower. That would be great. Maybe these guys. Anything at all. Maybe the camels. Of course, the AI is always camping there, so easier said than done. But 4 town centers should be actually possible. It's gonna whack on this TC. It's not gonna destroy it. Let's get some farming done. It's much like the other gods, right? Really not much difference. Pharaoh, for whatever reason, didn't come along to empower the town center. Anyways, we're about to have Tornado ready. We're about to have a second Shifting Sands ready. I'm gonna split off some more chariots and try to snipe this thing down. Tornado, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Can we catch all the villagers and the TC? Probably not. It will do a lot of damage though. And we'll have our Shifting Sands combo ready. As long as the AI doesn't get any additional villagers on the other TC, we should be very, very fine indeed. I'm saving my favor now for the Shifting Sands attack. One in power. Then off we go with another attack. It's gonna be brutal. That TC is toast. There's the AI is on top of this before I even got there. Jesus. But yeah, the villager hunt will be complete. From here, the mission is basically see if we can get some side business going. See if we can farm some more. I guess some of you could hunt. The AI is going to try to rebuild with 1 villager. You kill the villagers, you kill the houses, that's it. That's one of the very all-in strategies. And Set's pretty good at it, but watch out. Watch out. Don't try to pick him into Zeus. Okay, Norse. They are super different. I'm playing as 4 here. All berserks, guys. It's all berserks. Train the berserks at the very beginning. Thor can make the extra dwarven armory, but you don't get the dwarf bonuses from that. And as soon as possible, send out some of these berserks to work on the on the town center rather than the temple. We're just gonna be heading in that general direction. You've seen this already in the Zeus part. We're gonna be building up a bunch of longhouses here to wall off, and then a small wall to finish. Any additional guys that come out will be working on great halls, as we'll be needing some hero support, and we can start building a little bit by our 3rd town center as well. Just getting these town centers for population is going to be super important. We deleted these. We're going to be going through Bragi, and we'll be adding some extra temples, as well as a hill fort. So some of these barracks will be pointing to the town center, some of them will be pointing to the hill fort, which we need to advance to the next stage, and the temple is just training a bunch of heroes to build the town center a little bit faster. Gonna be getting some extra hill forts here as well. Make sure that we are backed up. And then after this initial batch of units, we can pump out a bunch of throwing axemen to defend against infantry onslaught. Additional great halls, of course, never hurt. And we are able now to advance to the Mythic Gate shortly with Tyr. I'm gonna be doing that because we're gonna be triple pumping the wolves, actually, from these temples. That's why we made 3 of them. But Norse is also able to do some crazy stuff like hide some buildings in the corner. So don't forget that power. It's very, very useful. Make sure to build up on your opponent's forward TC as well if you can. And a bunch of extra heroes never hurt anybody. Godi is a really good addition for frontline. I like Jarls. This is already done. We're just 2 minutes 30 into the game. Heroes build very fast on the town centers, even for deathmatch standards. We're not making trolls, we're making Fenris wolves. But we'll rally them separately because they're going to be more efficient in larger packs, of course. Dwarven mine is something to mine from immediately in Mythic, but hold it to Mythic. don't try to get it too early. We're gonna be building this up next. We might be getting 4 TC against the AI here, which is absolutely non-standard in competitive multiplayer, but hey, it's possible because it's AI. It's too defensive. Finally, a god I can punish it with. Well, there's not gonna be any trade route for the AI here, that's for sure. We've taken the location already, and that town center is getting built also. Very nice, we've got plenty of defenses. But this is, I think, where they will attack, right? So be a little bit more careful. Hang out by the towers. Snipe down those myth units, get our healing spring going. And get working with the villagers. Need quite a bit of wood, of course. And this is actually going to be our trade route. The AI doesn't get one. Not at all. We got a secondary trade route as well in case we need it. They got absolutely crushed. Norse power. Norse power. We'll add a little bit of Huskarl here from our 3 hill forts. Of course, more wolves because they got obliterated. So these 2 wolves are just going to be chilling by the healing spring, I think. Let's hit their houses. Ooh, actually, we're going to back off a little bit. That's a lot of Hippospis. We're going to need a lot more throwing axemen to handle this. This relic nearby, Kefara of Apollo, is pretty neat. So let's make use of that. Lots of queued units. We've got flaming weapons ready to go. Let's hit them. See what the AI can do about us. Okay, this is a good location to cast flaming weapons. Freyr is building up really fast. Whenever our berserks die, that's partly why we went Bragi. Whenever our berserks do die, they'll be giving us some favor back. We're gonna be just putting down some fortresses up front, as we have time during the ceasefire. Fortunate to lose some of the time, but oh well, it is what it is. Let's make sure we keep gathering resources. I think this is safe enough down here, right? To send up the caravans. Should be fine. We'll be making some rams. Sure, ceasefire countered our flaming weapons, but no problem. We've got 11 wolves to go and create some chaos in the enemy base. So we'll do exactly that. And by the time they get there, we might even have Fimbulwinter available. That's gonna be neat. Lots of units flooding in from both our sides. And Fimbulwinter's almost ready to go. Our gold mine is still going very, very strong. And you know what we'll do? We'll start getting a second one here because we've got all this favor. Why not? Why not just use it on cooldown? And I might get a second pack of wolves. Fimbulwinter's ready. Let's cast that as well. First pack is absolutely kicking butt in the enemy main. Let's try to take down a handful of their houses. Pump some units out, as that's what the AI is really best at. We gotta be a little bit more careful here. So we'll back off. Okay guys, here's a little strat. You pack together the wolves and your Huskarl and you just hit bases. They'll be so busy trying to have a good fight with you up front. And you can punish it. Of course, the wolves are able to go after the villagers while the Huskarl just ransack the base. And then go to the next town center, one after the other. We get them. Get rid of those. Bring the others. Huskarls are really fast, so difficult to chase. 5.5 speed here. And there's more coming. We're gonna hit these houses here. All of the wolves have died, but that's okay. And this should be it. There's like no way to come back from that. So many villagers that we've picked off already. And there's more of that coming. Keeping them off of town centers. And we've choked them out. Moving on to the next god. Okay, we're gonna be skipping Odin because he's essentially budget 4. Is just essentially the same thing, nothing to see there. But Loki, on the other hand, he builds a little bit faster, which is a huge boon for Deathmatch. You can already see this temple is done so much faster. We can just leave one berserk on that town center, on that house for a while. And we're going to be advancing through Heimdall, making some extra heroes as well, of course, to support our town center building operations over there. Gonna be walling this off as usual. And getting our additional great halls made. Then we'll start focusing on the front town center next. Make sure to send the berserks individually to that town center. And now we'll get the second housing guy done because we will need the extra houses. That's just because we have so many buildings already made. Very unusual. Putting down a bunch of towers, always a good idea. Bragi is the very obvious choice for Loki players. And one more thing we gotta really do is have a frontal temple. As usual, we are gonna be making a bunch of goldie. This is more than enough stuff back there to get the town center made. In fact, we're gonna make a defensive fortress just in case. And the front one also. And here. These additional berserks can also make even one more. Spy is not going to be the most valuable of god powers, of course. But Undermine is. You can hit just a clump of towers with them. It's super satisfying. We're going to be picking Hell for this, but you could technically go Tier. It's just... you can do a lot of summoning. Center's already done here. As you can see, the myth units just spawn out so quickly as our houses finish, as our town centers finish. And now we've got a lot of momentum on our side. 2 minutes 30, we're already 3 town centers. Loki's fast building is just insanely useful. Oh, the giants might be getting caught here. Let's be careful with that. But I think we might just try to sneak that 4th town center there. Yeah, the Lorphan on top of our fire giants is not the best ways to showcase this, is it? Let's pick off their myth units with our heroes. Again, it is not going to be a usual thing that you get this much done in the early game. Yeah, the Lorphan is microed really well by the AI. Anyway, we just make more fire giants. There's more where that came from. We have 5 now. The Lorphan is going down. We are 4 town centers. And now we can start a little trade situation up there in the north. I told you guys to gather wood, didn't I? Let's get some gold mining done as well. And we'll hunt. The most effective food income source. These guys can just do wood. Gonna be getting out more fire giants. It's never enough fire giants. And with this we should be able to break through the AI's front lines. Very difficult to deal with, definitely. for the AI, who is essentially a microbot, just basically run circles around that Bellerophon. We're gonna be heading up to the flaming weapons age. Get more giants. This is gonna be a quick one, guys. I can feel it. You know what else you can do? Put the temple up here. It's very dirty, but we'll do it. Get an ox cart for these guys. The flaming weapons is generating us a ridiculous amount of favor, especially if we back it with a bunch of berserks who will be dying and giving us 1 favor for each death. Just from the kill-death ratio, we're getting a absolutely ridiculous amount of favor, and the temple is done. We'll be making use of it momentarily. I think that's enough. This is where all the army is, so I don't know. We'll make a temple down here. Flaming weapons is over anyway, so our infantry can generate more favor. This is where we'll do the thing. You're about to see the thing. Yeah, get the big boys. That's it. That's the thing. You can do this in the very beginning of the game, by the way, just by putting a temple up in front of the enemy base somewhere. Hidden by the side if you want. That's even better, probably. And I think we just destroy some of these towers. You can support the mountain giants with Ein Harry. Or the fire giants, for that matter. Don't forget that your units get to summon additional giants as well. At least they'll most likely be doing so. And then of course we got the Nidhogg who can burn those guys down. Town center's done. We can even steal the AI's relics if we feel like it. That's Loki, ladies and gentlemen. That's Loki. Super powerful, super easy to play. Great tempo, great aggression. Highly recommend. Next. Moving on to Freyr. He's actually similar to Loki, but we're gonna be showing a style that is a little bit unique to him. So once again, you're just gonna pump out your berserks at the beginning, and we'll be taking our safest town center. And with additional start supporting this temple, we send them out before the temple completes. Then we let this guy swap over to houses. We're going to be going through Uller for essentially free fortresses. Pumping out a bunch of heroes to help with the building. And getting our little wall of barracks up. That's a gap. Let's fix it. There we go. There's gonna be a little gap here, so let's plug that as well. Armory's done, so we're gonna go up through Bragi. We're gonna be going for super Ulfsarks or Berserks. Trying to make a hill fort up there. And additional Berserks we get are gonna make a safer one. Like right here. The Battle War we can send out to raid enemy town centers, of course. We could have grabbed him a bit earlier, but that's fine. Place down a few extra longhouses here. As you can see, everything's pretty much as usual. There's nothing crazy happening, but we're making a lot of berserks, you might think. Why is that? Well, we're going to be advancing through Vidar, and he's got these technologies that basically give humans extra hit points. When berserks die, they get stronger. When they are idle, they get stronger. So we just make use of all of those together and essentially get these super berserks that are near impossible to stop. We will need a little bit of throwing axeman support, and of course, Goldie, but it's totally manageable. Could also go Aegir for the heroic age in order to get these hill forts to generate favor or food, excuse me, and then heal our units also. But I think this is cooler. This is cooler. Let's see if we can steal that town center. It's unlikely, but you never know. Gonna farm a little bit, although we don't need much of that. This is where we're gonna be placing our Guardian Fort. Very aggressive. Attack is hitting us in the completely wrong position for the AI, that is. And you know what? We'll make a bunch of extra dragons. Let's make some of those Fafnirs. Oh, the temple somehow got destroyed. There's a catapult here. Interesting. Well, we blasted through this. Against Norse, you have to build very, very tight. And if these guys keep getting closer to us, then we'll hit them with the bursty. It's gonna be a good way of defending ourselves. And well, of course, we've cleaned here up completely. Okay, there we go. Bronze is about to be over. We've got overwhelming berserk numbers. So let's get cracking. Our favor is ridiculous right now. We're gonna be putting down a Guardian Hill Fort over there. Let it build itself. Should be able to break through this army without any issues whatsoever. The Hippospis have been annoying, of course. But we just need overwhelming numbers to face them. Yeah, you can see the AI can't keep up with our pump. Pulled back completely. So I guess let's get building. See if they follow our guys around long enough. And then we just hit them with this. We have plenty of favor for more and more of that. So we already have enough favor for the next cast, and it's gonna get worse. We're gonna basically use flaming weapons on cooldown. We're not making many more myth units. Well, we could make some. Not going to right now. We're gonna start up our trade, however. Because we might as well. Town center will be built, no problem. We can use Bursty to help us defend. And somehow the AI found this fortress getting made. It's like it can see everything. Berserks are getting very, very powerful as they individually die. So some of these will have very high attacks. And especially during flaming weapons that just snowballs. We got plenty of Goldie to snipe enemies. 500 favor right now. It doesn't matter if they make tons of Hippospis, we just break through it with pure Berserk, essentially. Let's get the Golden Bursty partying again. That's it, AI is completely overwhelmed. Berserk's OP. 16 attack on some of these. Now Golden Bursty is helping. AI is nowhere to be seen. We are on 4 town centers. We are now on an additional town center again. And flaming weapons is ready. We're gonna be destroying their houses. The base trade situation is very much in our favor. Yeah, use the god powers. That's it. Freyr. Moving on to the Atlanteans. This is a little bit different. Gaia starts with hero citizens, so everything will be very neat at the start like that. We're gonna be just popping down all our manors, spreading out all our initial oracles, of course, and having one citizen essentially on the job of these advanced buildings. So we're going to be going through Oceanus for a little bit of a better army. We want that forward town center as our focus, and we're going to be spreading between buildings a little bit of military barracks, a little bit of counter barracks. Get a mix. The additional villagers will be working on the side town centers. And we're gonna be making as many oracles as we can on our way to the heroic age. We're gonna be spamming a bunch of more Millos and a mixture of Catapultes and Chiral Ballista. And then Freya will be our heroic god choice. We have to go Freya. It's non-negotiable. Really, the Dryads are just way too good to pass up in basically all the matchups. We're gonna be making palaces all over. And if you want, you can turn your citizens into heroes, but it takes a long time, so be mindful of that. We're gonna be adding a bunch of Contarius and Arcus to our mix. A bunch of towers, of course. And we can send our Murmillo out to raid a little if you want. You don't have to, but I think it's beneficial to. That should be enough palaces in general. So next, we're gonna be splitting up our oracles again, as they'll be gathering more favor like that, just like in standard. You can leave this guy here and there. Okay, we're gonna want a forward temple, of course. Make sure everything's connected, and Hecate will be our pick. Because units move faster on Lush, it's a good idea to place down a handful of eco guilds here and there. We're gonna be making fanatics and destroyers. And attack. Of course, a bunch of fire siphons wouldn't hurt. Once this villager is done with the towers, we're gonna be spamming down some extra military barracks, of course. Okay, this is not the best thing to attack into, so we're gonna be pulling back. We're gonna be turning our Arcus into heroes, converting that Hydra to fight against our enemies. The Lampades will be doing a great job of maintaining myth units throughout the game. Get that under control a little bit. Okay, focus these down with the Arcus heroes. Use our bases as cover. And by our second town center as it finishes up, we're going to be starting our Gaia trees as well. Gonna make sure there's lush all over the place, especially for our trade route. Gaia's trade route is essentially the best in the game because of that. So that should lush up everything. Very nice. We are attacking a little bit too hard into the enemy army there. Let's be careful. The Greek army is scary. Something to keep in mind. Try not to fight them too directly. My goodness, we're getting sieged hard. See what we can do about those Petrobolas. The AI is doing a good job of actually taking on many of our heroes here. So what we're gonna do is try to repair this town center. Gather some gold, of course. Get some farming done. And this is where we'll be placing our first Hesperides tree, and then just keep spamming out our Dryads as much as we can. Let's get our second Hesperides tree going. Because that will increase the number of Dryads that we can produce. And since we're getting wood from our Gaia trees, it's going faster. We got more income because of that. The AI is absolutely relentless though, and we need these this trade up and running as soon as realistically possible. So what we're gonna do is try to secure that gold mine over there. Try to repair our town center and pick off all the enemy myth units that we can while pumping dryads continuously. Any additional myth units that show up will be handled by the Lampades. Buildings repair themselves too, so that's kind of neat, but I think we have to do something about this fortress situation, because the AI is just very, very well defended, right? So let's see what we can get done. Destroying the Helipolis and whatnot. And of course, with our third Hesperides tree, we'll be able to have 15 dryads. We're going to be saving up for another one if we can. Although that's easier said than done because it costs 250 favor. We're not going to be making any Lampades for a while. Looks like our Tartarian gate is getting wrecked. And we can finally start our trade operations. I think our Lush fully connects, more or less. Especially once we do these little nodes. The Tartarian gate got ceasefired. And we have an opportunity to bring our fire siphons into the enemy main base. See what we can do with that. We can just meanwhile regenerate on Lush. Speaking of that, we should probably spread a little bit more. Off the Lush, that is. Now just make sure to keep pumping your dryads against Greek, because they only have 4 heroes, right? Relatively easy to snipe. But so long as you can do that, you've got high chances that your dryads will be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Also, did I mention that Hecate has your myth units regenerating anyways? Like, you got mythic rejuvenation, so if you stand on Lush, that's gonna be going even faster. I think that's some great bonuses. Okay, because we're 4 town centers now, we're gonna be not looking to replace our villagers. Any villagers that do die are okay to lose. What we're gonna be doing, however, is come forward with a large chunk of them and try to push directly with buildings. So palaces will be now more aggressively placed going forward. And I think we can stop spamming caravans as well. We've got a good number, not too many. But we definitely have too many citizens, so you don't want to max out really. As the Atlanteans aren't very population efficient. Okay, of course there's a Colossus right where I want to put my building. Dryads are absolutely wrecking. They're so tanky when they're in such a large number. And we'll be able to just keep pumping now. And guess what? You know what's better than 3 trees? 4 trees. That's right. I don't think I can make another palace on this high ground. There's just no space. But we can creep forward. So that's what we'll do. We'll destroy 1 barracks at a time if we must. Get down our extra Gaia trees, of course. Keep that going because that's supposed to be a main part of our income. Okay, 375 favor is a little bit too much. We're probably not gonna get a 5th tree anytime soon. You probably want to get a wonder first to reduce that pricing. Additional Tartarian gates could be okay, I guess. Why not just put down a bunch of carnivoras? They are also distracting. Might force some units to attack him. And that's basically it. You guys can see that pushing forward, having Lush on the front line is just extremely useful here. We can now get a palace here probably. And fire siphons can just work on the enemy main base. Greek army is very scary at first, but you get a large number of dryads out, it changes everything. Yeah, let's move on to the next god. Looking at Kronos, we're gonna be skipping Oranos actually, because he's basically Gaia with sky passages. But Kronos, you have to really think about how you place your manors, so that's exactly what we'll be doing. We'll be building towards our front once again, because we really want to secure that. And we're gonna be advancing through Prometheus, which will make promoting our villagers into heroes so much faster and more efficient. We're also going to be placing our first bunch of buildings around a time-shifted manor, which will speed up all that construction. I'll turn these guys into heroes as well while we're at it, and just get additional manors built, time-shifting them forward as we go, and just building more and more. Hyperion will be our heroic age god, of course. And here we can start putting down some palaces now, just like with Gaia, but basically you just creep forward with your time shifts. Manors will be boosting the build rates, and they stack. That's why we have so many of them. And we do it to our second town center, of course. Quick way to do so is just do the search button for the manors and then time shift them back. But you can also just look and grab them manually. Okay, our god is going to be Helios for the Mythic Age. This is a very APM intensive task, definitely. And what we're going to do now is open up the pathing a little bit here, because it's too cramped. Well, our oracles have turned into heroes, so they'll be generating favor even faster. Get everyone building. We're missing a bunch of manors, we'll fix that. They'll build very quickly around these other manors, so not a big issue. And there we go. Town centers themselves will finish up quickly. And we can just send these guys to one resource per town center, basically. The AI hasn't even attacked yet. We'll be 3 town centers before like 2 minutes. We're gonna be training some extra Santimanus. Add in some Arcus ourselves for all that myth unit stuff. Quick promotions. These guys could technically gather food from the huntables. Back here we're going for wood, that's fine. We're looking to get a little bit of time shifting action done, so we could just go forward with this right there, 3 buildings at a time. Of course the AI is pumping units, so it's easier said than done against the AI in particular. We're going to be looking to get something done on the side. This is not happening. What we'll do instead, because the army is distracted now, however, we can hit the back with those vortexes of ours. There's plenty of fire siphons. We specifically made them for this attack. And we'll be just hitting this location right there. It's completely undefended. Which is also going to be a great location for our additional time shifts. Come on. I know we can reach it. Let's get that infantry. And we're gonna be wanting to get the fire siphons actually out of this. A little bit of extra anti-infantry done. Keep making our palaces. And ultimately we want to have palaces everywhere. Now, our army has been destroyed here pretty badly. But that's okay, because we're going to be coming back with a vengeance. The AI has lost a town center, so that's already a big step for us. You know, you can avoid vortexing every single unit of yours if you just keep some guys garrisoned. We're just building up for the next one. The AI is not very good at retaking anything, so we just wait for a good opportunity. Might strike here and then just hit them on the other side, you know. Takes a long time to finish the time shift, of course. So it's best done in hidden locations. We're gonna get one of those soon. Yeah, I think we just walk into the main, honestly, and when they come to defend, we'll deal with that. Because they're all here now, right? Then they'll be heading to the main, and we can just teleport right here. All we need is an oracle to get vision. So many villagers are going down here, it's nasty. Okay, let's get that little group fighting themselves. Got our work done. Let's destroy that temple. Get that Heracles down, hopefully. And off we go. Next vortex. Last town center. It's extremely difficult to come back from a situation like this. Of course, the AI is already here. I have no idea why they're just sitting around all the time, but they are. With 6 Centimanus, 5 siphons, you're gonna be more than fine. And I've kept some backup here to hit the main at the same time, as you might recall. We've got a lot of idle villagers now, so let's fix those. And let's start up the triple trade route, as we've used 3 vortexes now already. It's getting a little expensive. But yeah, the AI isn't even trying to rebuild, so we're gonna hit that. We can just remake an army. It's not a big issue at all. Gonna be using a little bit of wood units, satyrs, because we're a little low on gold. But that's no worries at all, because we've got tons of gold gathering coming up. Plus our actual trade is also going. We can hit the houses. The AI is not here to defend, we might as well. Okay, let's hit them with one last vortex. And you can just really see how devastating this can be. With all the houses gone for the AI, with the production being next, what are they really gonna do about it? This army has evaporated. They're not really remaking anything significant anymore, because there's no houses, right? So now we just go after the villagers and the AI gives up. On to the next one. Lastly, we've got China. Let's start with Fuxi, who will be building up this temple up front and trying to expand the blessed ground a little bit, favored land, with the houses being placed on the outskirts of your favored land. And then you'll just be going towards the forward town center. Doesn't really matter which minor gods you pick with this god, to be honest, because all of them are good. And we'll just make sure that all these buildings remain connected. The Kuafu are the villagers that you'll be wanting to train, of course. And they'll be helping you build the advancement buildings, like the armory here. Every time a building completes, like a military camp, you want to train the add-on that makes units train faster. Then Nuba is, I think, my heroic age god of choice. The next Kuafu should be helping out with houses. And then here we'll be just pumping out palaces, or baule. We'll be also making Imperial Academies, 2 of them, because Fushi has 2 legendary heroes, and it's just a good idea to make a lot of heroes with Fushi. Machine workshops are going to be very important for our higher tier units, of course. But the infantry filler is going to be just the Dao swordsman. Let's get some fortresses, ballet in the back. And let's cast this Peach Blossom God Power as well. True Canoe are going to be our archer choice. Once again, Training Yard is going to be the way to go. We can get a second ballet, why not? We can get Measure out. We can go Gong Gong, in my opinion. He's probably the stronger Mythic Age god, but not by much. We're gonna make some Xinglongs, and we're gonna get out Yang Jun momentarily. Needs 8 favor. From our ballet, we're gonna be training Champion Tiger Cavalry. And after the initial wave of True Canoe, we're gonna be adding in our heavy axe carts. We don't need them immediately at the start, but they'll be a good addition later. Okay, keep spamming the Tiger Cav, and then fill out our heroes with sages when we're able. But this is a really good starting army. We can already go skirmishing a little bit, making sure that the Xinglong stay back, as they're very potent, but they're certainly killable. Make sure that the Myth units get focused down. It's a good opportunity to use lightning weapons, of course. You can already go and make use of the axe carts as well. Greek army has evaporated. China is very powerful in Deathmatch. It might get nerfed quite a lot, I think. Especially for this tournament that we're talking about. See if the X cards can hit that. Dragons in particular have this stacking damage, then the Yang Jun hero has splash attacks, but is also just really good against Myth units. In the back, the True Canoe are weakening human units with their shots, right? That's what I mostly want to be focusing on. Now the TC is up, so that little side attack didn't work. No problem, we'll just be using our other guys. Our Guafu can come up to build here. Still have plenty of resources, right? So these guys will be gathering wood in the back. We can also get a gold gatherer. And we'll be weakening the base and allow the X cards to plow through. Some Tiger Cav. Fix our idols. Popping the Myth units now with sages is of course a pretty good move. And make sure we get back our legendary heroes. Never want to go without them if you can avoid it. It looks like I didn't control group my machine workshop, so let's do that. Need more True Canoe. But with the ceasefire, we can basically just steal that front town center. No problem. Main town center is already destroyed, and we just hit this army with Great Flood in a moment. While we work on the houses. Alright, in the middle of the houses. Oh my goodness. We're getting back so many resources from destroying the enemy buildings as well. As if we needed that. Fourth town center is gonna be complete, and then these guys can just go and gather gold. Actually, one of you probably should make a market. And we can just connect all our favorite land together. Get some ballet. And that's the game. That's basically all the Chinese gods, but I'll show you guys Nuva as well. We're gonna be skipping Shenong and instead look at Nuva, who starts with this Kuafu hero. And all her buildings get automatically built within the Blessed Land, right? So we'll be letting the houses build themselves and focus everybody on the temple. The Kuafu will be going to this side. And these guys can just head forward. We're going to be picking how to. That's very important because the chasing of a sun upgrade has your buildings get built even faster, as if we needed that. And we'll be just connecting forward here. Let's try to make several machine workshops. And really, what we'll do is use this blessed land that we already have and fill it up as much as we can with some additional buildings that can make themselves. We'll be picking Rusho for insanely powerful infantry units. And then we'll be... Oh, wait, the villager should stay. We'll be making an Imperial Academy real quick for our Mythic Age hero. And then this guy can already connect the favored land. Have 2 ballet being worked on. All the fresh units should be heading forward. And Gong Gong will be our Mythic Age god. Every building that we complete, once again, we build a training yard on it. And we'll be making Chukanu. We'll be holding the god power for the Mythic Age because we get more summons out of it. And there we go. 1 ballet is already done. We'll be queuing up our tiger cavalry and summon these clay peasants to immediately start working on that town center. We'll be placing down some towers as well to help out. The Kuafu will be joining them eventually down the line. We'll be pumping out a bunch of dragons, the Mythic Age hero, of course, and then sages to follow up. Once we have favor, we can make more ballet. And as usual, the X squads to follow. We got tons of military camps who can now pump units out for us. And more space for even further production. Towers are building themselves, so we can pull the villagers onto the town center. The back town center is going to be done meanwhile, and the villagers can just go gather wood. Any new villagers should be probably hunting. So need a little bit of every resource. 4 Kuafu have done a great job. They can go after this and make another ballet, gather gold. The main guys can gather gold as well. Actually, we need a little space. So let's create a little space. We're gonna protect this front base with a earth wall. And our hero can help us push forward. Slowly but surely we will make it. The stunts are just brutal. Let's pick off the myth units. Let's pick off the heroes. The Nuva's army is not quite as good as Fushi's was, especially the heroes are weaker. But it's still very formidable. There's no armor shred on our Chukanu or archers in general. But we got this hero that can stun everybody, so I mean that's pretty good, right? They're not fighting during that. Ultimately, we'll be pushing through the exact same way. So from here, it's essentially the same as what you've seen. Nuva's build order to get here was different, however. We'll be using our Great Flood, of course, to create some momentum. Our army is almost just as good as Fushi's one, but not quite. And yeah, we just keep pumping. We keep getting this composition of Tiger Cap, Chukanu, and heroes. It should be doing really well, especially with dragon support. You can get the second summon of clay villagers if you like. That would absolutely work to gain like a 4th town center. It's just really overbearing for the other factions to deal with. They train really powerful units, guys. I don't know if it's actually balanced, but we've done our best to to tweak them in a mod for the tournament. So this is gonna be the last god. I hope you liked the guide. Make sure to actually click the like button if you did. Do the other one if you didn't. Let me know if this production quality isn't good enough. Join the Deathmatch Discord as well and hang out with us to play this beautiful game mode. And I will see you there. Bye bye.